Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today for episode 43. And again, I am coming to you from Florida, Sunshine State of Sarasota and City. I love it here. So, update for you guys. My daughter has gone back to school. It's been about a week now. She loves it. We love it here. And we're still working on getting my husband here. He's still commuting between here and DC for work. But I am just delighted to be living here in this sunshine state. I mean, it makes me happy. I love going to the beach every single weekend, well, almost every weekend. And yeah, I feel like a brand new person. So, coming to you today on the topic of why are we missing our goals, right? I'm guilty of it. I'm not perfect. And that's a reason why I wanted to share my tips with you today and address a couple things before we even go into the reasons why we're missing our goals, right? Like, let's get real here. I have a family. I have a 5-year old and a 2-year old. You know, my 5-year old's first grade, 2-year old still potty training, still sleep training, all the things. But what really got me to want to share the 5 reasons that you should explore on being the reasons why these are the barriers that you're going through from succeeding or hitting your goals or hitting your targets. Like, I want to address a couple of things first. The first thing that I really want to address is the difference between the different level of efforts that we're putting into achieving our goals. And honestly, not until I most recently learned about the actual levels. Like, before, I could always understand, yes, you have to work really hard, and things like that. But until most recently, I learned that there are actually 4 different levels of effort. And excuse me, that it's not really difficult to really understand which level that we're in and why we are not, or we are creating the results that we really want. Is that there are 4. The first one is very simple: no effort, right? Let's talk about that. Like, you're not putting in any effort in, meeting your goal. You just put it down and you wishy-washy. You have really no plan about committing to it, or what's the first step, or there's no action plan to actually really execute. So the first level is no effort at all, right? And the second level is called retreat, meaning you don't care about making goals. I mean, maybe perhaps you have set like a New Year's resolution before and it didn't work out, whatever, and then you just don't function on goals, and that's not your priority. So that's retreating. That's the second level. And then the third one is most of us. And I want to say, as I have been working on myself, as I have been working on with my clients, most of us are here in this third level, believe it or not. And most of us are not even aware. I mean, for me, for the longest time, that's where I was. And that level is basically doing average amount of effort, average amount of work, average amount of commitment, however you want to name it, but it's average. And I have to tell you, this is the most dangerous level because it makes us seem like we're doing something, but doing average actually gets us below average. Because as you can see, it really also our perception of the amount of effort that we're putting into something. So really understand that. Are you putting out average? Because chances are, if you're, even for example, your workout, for me, for the longest time, I just want to finish it versus really tracking to see where was I last week for the same workout and how can I go faster, or whatever you can change. So that's what happens when you're stagnated. That's what happens when you're doing just enough. And it's the most dangerous because it seems like you're doing something. And that's why most of us get really frustrated, because we're doing something and we're not getting the results. It's because we're putting in average amount of effort. The last, but the fourth ultimate level of effort that we all want to be in, and you guys might have heard me talk about this already on one of the previous episodes, that is massive amount of effort. massive amount of effort. And even the word massive is even subjective. Let's just say if we quantify it, can you double the amount of work? Can you triple, quadruple, 10x, right? Then now we're talking. And you know better than I do when it comes to how much effort are you putting in, and perhaps maybe you need to double the amount. Only you know how much work that is, how much effort that is. But only one level, which is the ultimate fourth level of effort, which is massive action, is ever going to get you the results that you want. So I want to set the slate really clear and clean on where do we start with achieving our goals before we go into all the other reasons, because other reasons might just be like a quick fix, like a band-aid. And you may be doing all five or all the tips I'm going to be giving you, but not getting the results you want because you don't understand this couple pieces of why things are not working out for you. The first one I shared already is level of effort. And the second piece to this is when it comes to hitting your goals, it's not simply in terms of balancing time and managing time, right? We hear the word balance so often. Trust me, I'm a mom, I have a family, I have a business, and the word balance gets thrown around so often, but people are not really understanding what it really means. It just sounds great that, oh, I have to have a work-life balance. But is there even such a thing, right? And I'm going to give you an example. I have a schedule to work 3 weeks of the month at the beginning of the month, first seeing clients, and I don't see them at the last week of the month. So chances are I work so much more during the first week of the month, and I don't work as much the last week of the month. So that means I spend more time working first 3 weeks and then more time playing with the family, hanging out with the family last week. So there's no balance, as you can see that, right? I worked more at the beginning and then I worked less at the beginning. So there's no true balance. So when you think about balance, like it has to be really equal. Like you have to work the same amount of time, during the day and the same amount of time with the kids. No, it doesn't work out like that. So that's the first thing I want to say is really understanding that balance doesn't really have to happen the way you think about it. Okay. So consider that. And in relation to that, when it comes to balance, it's really about managing. I take it back. It's not about managing. It's actually about making time and really understanding, are you really wasting time? Are you being productive with your time? Because here's the thing. Only then you will know, can I really produce the result that I really want in the time I have? So, for example, I would love to be able to work 80 hours a week. Not possible. I have a family, I have 2 kids, not possible. So, for me, it means only 6-hour days on some days, 5 hours a day on other days. But I know that for me, I have 25 to 30 hours a week to be super productive with my time. And that's what you have to get real with yourself on. It's like, how much time do you actually have to achieve this particular goal? Okay. Because a lot of times people think, oh, I want to hit these goals, but I'm so busy with life. I'm so busy with family and with the kids. I may not be able to do it. But do you actually know for sure how much time you have? And can you work on controlling your time and make the time to do what's most important to you? Right. Because all this is really important when it comes to managing your target or managing your goals. Is we're not disciplined, meaning we're not productive with our time, and we're not putting in the right amount of effort. Of course we're not getting the results that we want. Got it? Okay, we've got those 2 things out of the way. Now I want to go straight into the 5 tips. The first and foremost, I talked about this, it's important to have your priorities straight. Meaning, do you know what's most important to you? Do you have a list of priorities of what's important to you? For example, my health is first. That's number 1. Secondly, is my family, meaning kids, quality time. Third is going to be business. So as you can see, my health is always first, my family is second, and then my business is last. So you create your schedule and you set priorities according to your priorities. And you have to understand where you want to be. in your different areas. I'm just using those three as like the examples, but even in those specific example or areas, I break it down too. Even for example, business, right? I have finances and then team building, etc. When I have family, it has happiness, it has physical connection, it has spirituality, all of the things. So where do you want to improve in terms of your life and your business? Set your priorities straight, okay? Secondly, you have to count on your community. And it's not as simple as, oh yeah, my husband knows I have a business to run, so he's going to always be supportive of me. No, he has to know my work schedule, meaning we're always on the same page. Well, granted, because we have to be disciplined with when he's traveling here, but even before, we have a system to where he knows when I'm going to be working and when he should expect for me to be off work, etc. He can count on me when I'm off, and etc. I can count on him. So same thing, you have to lean onto your community. But the most important thing is when it comes to counting on your community, yes, they want to help you, but make sure that you guys are all on the same page, especially with your family. And then after that, make sure you're really reaching out for help. I had to learn it the hard way. I know I could always do it myself, but I just know that with support, I can do it faster and I can go farther. Second piece, community. Third, really important with anything, I've learned to track everything and anything in my life now, from the water intake to the miles that I run to how many workout per day. And I mean, you have to be able to track your progress. So that way you know where you need to go, what kind of adjustments you need to make, any iterations, etc. Fourth, you have to set a schedule with your priorities that you set up top. You have to know when are you going to do what. It's important, again, going back to how realistic is it to achieve this particular goal with the time you have. How do I know that I have time to train for a half marathon, run a virtual summit, write a book, and also manage a team, things like that. So you have to schedule it out. I don't have anything written when I'm sleeping, but everything starts when I start in the morning with my morning routine, 5 a.m. or 4:30, 4 a.m., whatever time it is, all the way through to the end of the day until bedtime for me. So you have to see your schedule that way. You have to be able to see, where are you wasting your time? Are you being disciplined? And are you being consistent with your time to produce the results that you want? And then last but not least, you have to optimize your time, meaning be onto yourself. Be onto yourself with how many hours are you wasting? I know for me, for a long time before, it takes me to so long to get onto a task, especially the really hard ones, because I'm procrastinating. I would need to go get a cup of coffee. I need to, go say hi to my mom or say hi to the neighbor, take a walk, whatever. But that's time wasted. So you have to be able to optimize your time. How is it that everybody has 24 hours a day, but like the most successful, the most wealthy manage their time, or, make time for whatever it is that they need to do? Well, because they know how to optimize time. It's not about controlling time. It's not about managing time. It's about making time and optimizing the time that you have. Because it's not realistic to expect yourself to do a certain amount of work and you don't have the time to do it. Of course, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to stop setting goals. So these 5 tips really have been helpful for me in terms of keeping my priorities straight, but also help me achieve my goals. Is number 1, I set my priorities. I count on my community. Everybody's on the same page in my family. I track my progress. I schedule all of my priorities, no questions asked. I don't mess around with my non-negotiables. And then last but not least, I optimize my time. So I have more precise details of how you can do all of this also on my blog, same topic. Let me know if you have any questions, or leave a comment. And also let us know if you want to hear anything that you haven't heard yet on your podcast. And I'll be happy to put the content together for you. Other than that, have a fantastic day. I will talk to you guys next week.